Good morning, guys. Kyle Davis here. Great to see you all. Happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great July. We are hanging in there. I hope you are too. Still masking up and all that jazz, but since I've got my doors closed and I just want to have a chat with you guys this morning, I'm gonna go ahead and take that off before we get back to work. But hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. We have a lot to cover this week. First of all, I want to send a couple of shout outs before we get into our numbers and our financial fun for the week. First shout out this week goes to Joey, our buddy Joey. And some of you know Joey. Joey is a creative genius, and he has made an animated logo for us with some of our services and bullet points for Integrity Financial Group. So I just think that is super cool. I can't wait to use this on our social media. I can't wait to use it on our Facebook banner, using it for gifts and little online stuff like that. So thank you so much for that, Joey. I'm super excited to use this, man. You have no idea. Joey is the man. Second shout out this week also goes to Joey. Why? Because just this past week, he and his family officially are adopting this beautiful little puppy from a rescue. And boy, I could not be more excited for them. I mean, look at that. She's still got to stay at the rescue for a little while because she's too little to come home. But boy, that's just exciting. You guys are awesome. If you ever are thinking about welcoming a dog into your home and your heart, consider adopting. Consider one of these rescues. We have some great rescues locally, and I do want to also shout out number 3 goes to Florida Little Dog Rescue in Central Florida. They're based, I believe, up in Seminole County, but they helped us get our little guy, our little Winston. And they have a great Facebook page, and they post some awesome stuff. They even post some notes about some of the dogs that are up for adoption. Now, don't go on here and comment that, oh, I want the dog. Is it available? You need to go to their website. It's listed on their Facebook, and you can look at some information about seriously possibly adopting one of their dogs. They're an awesome organization. My wife donates a little bit through payroll deduction, through charity matching contribution her company does to Florida Little Dog. So we can't thank you guys enough, and we just think the world of you. So let's get into the meat and potatoes this week. I heard through friend of a friend kind of situation, actually coworker kind of situation. Not going to name any names, obviously, because we don't want to do that here. But let me get this pulled up for you because I made a bit of a slideshow today. I heard that a coworker of maybe me, maybe someone I know, not going to tell you, actually asked this. Hey, I was thinking about cashing my 401k. I wonder how long I could live off of it before I had to find another job. So I started asking questions. Obviously. I'm like, all right, how old is this person? What's in the 401k? What are we actually looking at here? I found out this person is actually 28 years old. 28 years old. Now, I know that we're in this COVID economy right now, guys. I know it's stressful. I know there's a lot going on, and I know that options can be limited sometimes. So let's just be honest here. Things are not ideal. They're probably not going to be ideal for the rest of this year. In fact, this week, I believe it's today, as of the filming of this video, which is July 24th, Orange County in Central Florida, if you don't make your election today, with school, like, is your child going to be in person, virtual, etc., they're just going to default you to in person. And like that cutoff is today, I hear. So things aren't ideal. But back to the question. I was thinking about cashing out my 401k. I wonder how long I could live off of it before I had to find another job. Now, I'm going to give an example here, guys, and we're going to go through some calculations, and the following components make up these calculations that I'm going to use. Time value money calculation and future value of annuity calculation, blah, blah, blah. I know, like, super financial nerd stuff, but just hang with me for a second. It'll make sense, I promise. When you see PV, that means present value. It means what the sum is worth now. Future value, the calculation and what it'll be worth in the future. Rate of growth, so that's like your interest rate, and N is the number of periods that we're calculating off of. Usually that's a number of years that we're looking at, and in this case it is a number of years. Now, disclaimer here, the following is for educational purposes only, and we are not including taxes. We are not including taxes in this example, because if someone did cash out their 401k at age 28, you know, and I know, there's not only going to be penalties as far as early withdrawal, there's also going to be taxes. But I'm just going to use round numbers here. We are not including taxes. In real life, we would have to look after taxes or consider taxes. So just keep that in mind. It's for example purposes only. So let's explore this. Let's explore this. We got basic Becky, right? We got basic Becky, who is 28 years old, and she is cashing out $25,000, cashing out her 401k, walking away with $25,000. So she finds a new job, lives off that for a little while, whatever, finds a new job, starts investing again the following year. So now she's 29, she's putting in $2,500 a year, which is 5% her salary, and she's getting a match of $1,500 a year, which is 3%. So in total, she's getting a $4,000 a year contribution, or 8% of salary. Got me so far? All right, now she can average 7% interest and invest this much per year until age 67, which is full Social Security retirement age. Now, pause button for a second. You don't just invest the same sum for the rest of your life and expect it to be perfectly that way. It doesn't work that way. It's never going to work that way. There's always going to be adjustments, always going to be changes. Nothing is perfect. And if you don't know that by now in life, boy, I got a rude awakening for you. But again, raw numbers, we have to start somewhere. This is for illustrative purposes only. If someone did invest $4,000 per year from age 29 all the way until age 67, which is 38 years, and that is Social Security full retirement age as of right now, to find out the end result when she is 67, what those investments will do after that amount of time at 7%, we use something called a future value of an annuity calculation. Now, all this is, it's some fancy math to figure out, hey, if you put in this much a year for this long and earn this much, how much are you going to have? So here's the math, guys. A future value of annuity calculation is your annual deposit times the FVA, future value of annuity factor. So that's your annual deposit times this formula here. That has the future value annuity factor formula. So when you plug in all your variables, you got your $4,000 deposit each year, right? 1 plus 0.07, because you have to turn your percentage into a decimal, raised to the 38th power, that's number of years. And then all that divided by the decimal of the return, 0.07%. So at the end of the day, when you math that out, you go and plug in your contribution. There's your future value of annuity factor when you put in all your variables together. Becky will have $690,244 when she is age 67. And that is if she cashes out the 401k, starts over again at age 29, and puts in $4,000 a year for the next 38 years and can average 7%. Not too bad. Not too bad, right? But let's go back, because we also have to consider what would happen if Becky did not cash out the $25,000 and she did find a new job the following year and just continued on. So we're not just going to look at Becky. We're not going to look at basic Becky now. We're going to look at someone who's in a similar situation but did not cash out. We're going to look at Big Chad. We look at Big Chad. Big Chad is a Big Chad. He's 28 years old. He rolls over his $25,000 401k instead of cashing it out. Okay, he rolls it over the following year. He finds a new job, starts investing again the following year, same as Becky. So he's also 29 now, right? Let's look back at Becky. You know, she found a new job at 29, started investing again. He found a new job at 29, started investing again. Exact same numbers. $2,500 a year with a $1,500 a year match, $4,000 per year. And he can also average 7% interest and also invests the 25K plus the $4,000 per year until age 67, which is the same 38 years till age 67, which is full Social Security retirement age. So what we're going to have to do with Big Chad is we are going to have to take that $25,000, find out what it would be worth under those assumptions, And then we can go back to Becky because it's the exact same, right? And add that to what Becky did. It'll make sense. Just follow me here. The logic all connects, I promise. So we're going to use something called a future value of a single sum calculation for Chad. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to find out what his $25,000 that he rolled over is going to be worth under those assumptions. And this is the math. It's future value formula equals present value times your factor here, which is the same variables as before. We're just using them a little differently. So he's got his $25,000 rollover at 7% for 38 years. And when you do the math on that, you end up with $326,981. I'm not counting change here. Let's just round it to the nearest whole dollar, right? So for Chad has his original rollover plus his future contributions. Becky, on the other hand, only has her future contributions because remember, she started over again. So let's look at the results here. Chad's $25,000 rollover will be worth the $326,981. And his 401k plan, because remember, he did the same thing as Becky, exactly the same. So his 401k and her 401k will both equal $690,244. So when you add those two together, Big Chad's total is $1,017,255.87 at age 67. Let me bottom line it for you, because I like bottom line. With what we just did, Becky is 67 and has $690,244 in her 401k. Chad is age 67 and he has $1,017,255 between his rollover and his 401k. The only difference between Becky and Chad, Chad should be capitalized, is that Becky cashed out her 401k when she was 28 and lived off that money before finding a new job. Chad, on the other hand, rolled over his $25,000 from his old 401k and did not cash out. The ending difference between the two is $327,011. Just because you did or did not cash out the 401k when you were 28 years old because you thought that was a great idea, right? Now, again, I get it. Life happens. Nothing can be perfect. If you are in Becky's shoes and you have no other choice but to cash out, all right, well, talk about it. Because you don't want to go into debt, right? But look at the difference. Is $25,000 of debt plus maybe a little interest possibly worth a difference at the end of, what was it, I believe, $327,000? This is why when somebody says, I want to get debt-free at all costs, I cringe. Because as a financial professional, I can run the numbers and understand the math and the implications between taking on some debt and not. So getting debt-free, while I am always a fan of being debt-free, I do not believe in being debt-free at all costs. I think being debt-free no matter what can be a mistake, depending on your individual situation. But I think that everyone being debt-free at all times at the absolute cost of everything else and every other opportunity is not something we should promote. It's not something we should cheer on. We should evaluate it on an individual basis to see if that person in their circumstances being debt-free makes sense, or if that person in their circumstances being debt-free first makes sense. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Because when you figure out all the math at the end of the day, you really do get a clear answer. Now, again, some of this is based on assumptions that I've made, and like I said, everything is not perfect, which is why this example is just for educational purposes, just to show you the math if everything lined up. At the end of the day, you understand yourself and your life better than a mathematical calculation ever will, which is why we always encourage people to talk to a professional. So that's it. That's what happens at an early age if you cash out the 401k, even if you start right over again. I'm going to leave it there for today. Next week, I want to talk about something I think is going to benefit a lot of people called the Roth IRA Challenge. We won't get too much into that this week. We'll talk about it next week. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. If you need any help, feel free to reach out, financialservicesamerica.com. You can get on my calendar. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.